sharp guys on there. And we put those 4 photos on there, and we put them in high res so they could see all the stuff that I saw. And put them on there, and people just finally, after about, the first week, everybody said, I don't know, I think you're seeing things, John. Then one by one, the guys started to see, hey, no, wait a minute, I see something. Then somebody else said, no, I see something, and then we saw all kinds of stuff. So that led to me getting some photos of the moon from a guy we knew in England, because there's only about 6 or 7 photos that NASA has ever released, or prior to that time, of the moon. I mean, they just weren't there. There's some Lick Observatory photos, like 4 or 5 of them of a full moon. I think 3 of them of a full moon, and then in various stages. But there wasn't a real clear picture of the moon. And so we got Mike over in England to take some picture, and he took some real high-res pictures of the moon. And he took 192 frames of the moon and then put them all together seamlessly and put them together. And when we got it, we couldn't believe what we're seeing. If you look at the moon, let's see, this thing goes forward. That little dot right there is one of the brightest objects on the moon. And NASA's never said that much about it. It's a crater called Aristarchus, and any photo I've ever seen, starting back to Lick Lick Observatory photos back to 1938, that photo is always just white, pure white. It's like somebody just took a pen and a white-out pen and made it pure white. And whenever you ask anybody a question about it, they say, yeah, I don't know what it is. It looks like white. That's what it is. And if you can't see it, well, let me see. That is the hexagonal shape fusion reactor, on the moon. That's Aristarchus right there. That's enlarged. You can see the arches, and right there, arches. And I'm going to show you another picture of the different flows. Down here, there's a road. Right here, there's an entrance. Here, the road goes inside the thing here. There's some tunnels here, and I'll show you. But anyway, we saw this reactor. I mean, that's all it could be. What you see, the blue spot, that's where radiation contacts with air molecules and turns blue, just like it does here on Earth in the air or in the water. So we saw this and another of other pictures, and then I decided to take a look at the far side. I said, if there's this stuff on the front side, what must be on the back side? So I remember it was last December 4th. I had for some reason, about 10 years ago, I went up to Portland, where my daughter lived, and there was a big bookstore there, I forget the name of it, and I bought all the NASA books, and they were all like pre-1970. The importance of pre-1970 is before 1970, they weren't too particular about how they airbrush stuff out. After 1970, they did a terrific job because they realized, that they had to get this covered up. But the pre-1970 stuff, and it's still available, has the poor airbrush job, and I'll show you what they did and how it works. So I took this book and I thumbed through it, and I saw a picture of Lomonosov crater, and it just looked weird. I'll show it to you in a minute. It had some, what the NASA calls ejecta, white ejecta. White ejecta is NASA's name for white out. That's what they put on there. They call it white ejecta, but it's just white out. And they use it to cover up cities and buildings and stuff like that. I'll show you how it works here. And I enlarged it, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, I'll show you the pictures in a minute. There was obviously a space terminal. There was obviously a city square with roads and buildings, and so then we started getting all these pictures, and I had a friend, a guy on Above Top Secret named Zorgon. Turns out to be Ron Schmidt, who's my associate now, research associate. And he started looking at this stuff and delving into it and finding more and more. So this one picture is Apollo 8. And it was taken by the Apollo 8 crew. And right here is the crater Humboldt. We are over the Terminator. This picture was actually taken when the Terminator, that's the separation between light and dark on the moon. This is the side that we can see, and it just happened this was a full moon. This is the crater Humboldt, and this is the side we can see. Now look up here. See that? See that bright spot? You see those things coming down there? Let me see if I got it. There. Now, that is not a crater. Those are lights. Those are whatever they are, stand-up walls or stuff. Those are all kinds of little things that they got around there. I don't know whether they're roads or what. If on the CD that we got downstairs called The Living Moon, it's got 650 megabytes of photos. And this photo is on there. You can enlarge it. You can say there's all kinds of little lights and everything. This is obviously a city, and it's in Batavia B. This is the crater Endymion. If you're looking at the moon, the full moon, it's up at about the 1 o'clock position, almost on the edge. This is a photo that was taken by Lick Observatory, and it's about the clearest photo that you can get released by the government. You can see the crater floor there, and you can see on each side some kind of stuff sticking up there. This is the exact same crater taken by Mike in England. Now remember, NASA and the Lick Observatory are using a 36-inch telescope. Mike has only got a 10-inch telescope. So look at the clarity here of the Endymion crater here. You can see here those antennas. There's a huge, big antenna there and a parabolic spherical antenna over there. That's Endymion. This is an oblique photo of Copernicus. This is the one that we've got so much information on. These are enlargements of the mining operation. You can see it's all terraced there. Right here you see the vapor going up there, vapor going up there. Up here, and it'll be easier if you get the tape, you can see the building up here, and I've got an enlargement up here. Over here is a crane, and when Ron Schmidt, whose avatar is Zorgon, started looking at these, what we were looking at is we had two photos, this one and the one directly overhead, and even though they were taken 18 months apart, what we were trying to find was the smoking gun. One thing that was in here that we could see in there, and we found it, and it's this crane right here.